I ended the last vlog on a rather somber note. I say I ended it, I mean I haven't edited it yet because that was only 3 days ago. So, we're all set up here at Cadwell for the penultimate round of our, the Pirelli Super Series 600 Championship. So, some people don't know what penultimate means, that's second to last round. We're set up, and obviously this weekend we're club racing, so gives you a little bit of a different perspective to BSB. I mean, for BSB, you're sort of that side of the road, whereas No Limits with this side. Hi Ben! Hiya! So yeah, that's Ben and Wilfred. I was putting a... Oh, I don't know what to say there. I can't say something. Just putting a camp voice on. But yeah, so here's the bike. It's got a little bit of damage, obviously, as I alluded to at the end of the previous vlog and the beginning of this vlog. Had a crash in race 2 at the in the British Supersport Championship. Made a change to the bike, which was actually the steering damper. I'd had it on full all weekend. First time to try it out was in the race at full speed, and the bike turned a lot faster than a lot faster than I had done previously, and that was enough for me to put a wheel on the curb, and then I crashed. So if you're interested, I mean the race is probably on YouTube or something now, so you can watch it, but I only make it 80% of the way around the first lap. But anyway, it's been a hectic, relatively hectic couple of days to get the bike back together. So obviously bit of the old fiberglass in there, new side panel, which actually is missing a sticker. It's missing Northeast Customs one on there, which I don't have a spare of. However, Metcalfe Northeast, which goes there, I've got a spare one of them. The fairing has obviously smashed this section out of it, but I'm not really bothered. I do have a brand new belly pan, but is it worth using? Probably not. The biggest problem, which Wilfred has sorted for me, hey up, got it here, is the Y piece of the exhaust, which is just in there. So as you can see, there's nothing wrong with that one. My link pipe is a bit bent, as you can see, and the exhaust can is one that I'm borrowing off my mate Aaron, because mine is looking a little bit worse for wear. This is my Y piece. Now you can see there's some creases in it. This has actually been straightened out. Me and Steph straightened this in the garage, and even though it doesn't look too bad, when I put it on, because how bent it is still, the exhaust was in totally the wrong position, so can't use it. However, as I said, Wilfred got me one, so that's it, we're ready to go. It doesn't look too bad, I don't suppose, especially if you look at it from kind of this angle, even where the damage is there. Oh, I smashed the screen as well, so on the old screen. Actually, I've just realised I've still got my Supersport numbers on, so I'll have to get them off for me. But yeah, I am properly waffling now, so yeah, I'll do another bit when we get back off track tomorrow morning. Well, the first part of the vlog, what you see, this happens every single time.
We now have a stock of yellow knee sliders with a black logo, as well as black knee sliders with a yellow logo, following a short raid smash and grab. Thank you.
So, as I was saying before I was interrupted, which I seem to be every single time I do a vlog, or clip for the vlog. So I went out in the first session, so obviously we had a crash last week. Went out in the first session, quick shifter's not working, can't get a sensor from anywhere, trace it back, and the wire in the middle of it somewhere is broken down. That stopped the quick shifter working. Go out, going round, bike felt a little bit slow, but I just thought maybe it was me. And then loses everything. Anyway, a bit of fault diagnose. I had to push it up the mountain. Standard.
You did?
Well, I had to push it up to a bit off the track, so I was dying. Then thankfully I had some people coming at me, including Steph, who was holding the camera. I just done a test on the stator, and there's a problem with it, and so decided to take it off. if you look inside there, what happens is this part sits inside the flywheel there, and this outer edge of the flywheel somehow has cut through those wires there, so it hasn't been charging. Now luckily I have a spare, but what I'm hoping is this is item 3. So we had the crash, we had the quick shifter, now we've got this alternator. We've got to be on for 3 wins now. We'll find out in the next bit of the vlog. So I've got the old stator, as you what you call it, out. Look at the state of it. Look at the state of the stator. Obviously you can see there's quite the difference. Something has been going wrong with this. I think there's supposed to be a tab in here what holds the wire in place and stops it getting chowed up by the flywheel, and that's not there. And obviously there's significant damage on this, so it looks as though it's came out and battered everything. Luckily the flywheel looks to be okay. Yeah, it's got some like metallicness in it, so that's not great. So I think I'll change the engine oil as well. Try and get, if there's any metallic bits, get rid of them. Obviously that's not what you want in the engine, but that's what oil filters are for, I guess. I can't believe it, I've just done a session there, rode out under my own power, rode in under my own power. Can riding motorbikes get any better than this?
No pushing.
Well, that's the test day over and done with. Pretty pleased with how it went in the end. Obviously you will have seen in some previous clips we had a bit of a calamity. First of all, quick shifter stopped working, so I had to do a bit of a bodge on that. I don't know whether I actually talked about that, but basically, I mean, you can see it looks a bit pikey right now, but there's 4 wires in there, 2's for a blipper, 2's for a quick shifter, and one of them had broken inside the sort of protective plastic outer bit, so that's why I've found another bit of 2-core cable and re-put it together. Now that's working. Then obviously we had that thing with the stator that was knackered. Fashioned up that bracket that I said was missing. I fashioned one up out of the Ford Transit keyring. I didn't have anything else to make one with. And then we got sort of 3 sessions. In the last session I tried a SC2 front tyre, which I've never used before. So SC2 front tyre, it's not like an SC2 rear in that it's a harder compound. The compound is exactly the same, so it's an SC1, but it's got a stiffer sidewall. And I think now I'm getting to that point where, you know, I definitely benefit from more stability under braking and a bit easier change of direction. So yeah, I went out with a scrub front, what I got for free, and tried that. Obviously steady for the first couple of laps, and then went for it, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. I managed to do a 1 minute 33.2, which is obviously, as I say, on old tyres, and the fastest I went at BSB I did a 33.1, so to be literally 1/10 of a second off on old tyres. Let's see if we can smash them 32s in quali. So yeah, ending the day on a high, which is nice. See you in the next one. Well, it's Saturday morning, we're at Cadwell Park, and despite the weather forecast, it was supposed to be torrential today, it's actually improved overnight. Now it looks like we might not get any rain at all, which is obviously fantastic, because the rain itself isn't a problem, and I'm sure you've heard many people say this, but it's just when it's in between, so you're gambling and then you put a set of wet tyres in because you think it's wet, and by the time your race goes out the track's dry and you just destroy your 400 odd quid set of tyres. There's wasps everywhere. But yeah, as I said previously, yesterday went well. Got some new tyres in the bike, and I'm using the SC2 front now. Yeah, looking forward to get out there. I'm just having my cup of tea and my porridge, and qualifying for me starting 1 hour 14 minutes, so ready to go. I'm excited to see what we can do. Like, I feel a 38 coming on, but who knows. Pretty sure I just said see a 38 coming on. Hopefully I go faster than a 38. I want to do a 1 minute 32, so yeah. Oh, well, I'm sweating profusely, but we did it. Should be some front facing camera footage there. My GoPro ran out of batteries just as I was putting it on the bike, so there's no rear facing from then. 32.7, but my lap time I reckon's 32.690. So I'll say it was a 32.6, and that's not far for 32.5, is it? So, and that was all by myself, and that session Finley was following me around at the beginning. I kind of expected that's what would happen, but what I didn't want to do is go out behind a bunch of slower riders and then not get the track space, so I knew I was going to tow some people around, but still, doesn't matter. I'm pleased, fastest I've ever been by a decent chunk. I did 33.1 when I was here in the BSB, or British Super Sport, so I've knocked another 4/10 off, which I'm very pleased with. So yeah, roll on race one. As you probably will have seen, that wasn't my finest hour in that race. I didn't, well actually I made an alright start, I think. It's just the first lap was bad. You probably, well, I'll put it in the video, like when I edit it. I had two pretty decent moments around Chris Curve on the first lap which unsettled me, and then just sort of just struggled from there really. I had a really bad line through Hall Bends on the first lap, probably subconsciously trying not to do what I did when I raced in the British Super Sport. Lap times were also pretty poor. 1 minute 33.3 I think was my best on lap 10. Only saving grace is that I'm still on 5th in the grid, so it's not as if I've moved a mile down the grid, and the guys who finished in front of me went slower than I went in qualifying, so I know I can do them times. Good news is that we're getting over 2 goals tomorrow. Yeah, because I wasn't happy with that performance, but yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's Sunday morning. I went down and got my emergency practice this morning. There is some things I want to change. I'm going to try going down, well, one more tooth on the rear, because I'm using 5th gear on Chris Curve now anyway. There's sort of, well, in my head there's no disadvantage to doing that, so because it'll only make my driving second better. So yeah, we're going to try that this morning, and then got 2 races today, so fingers crossed I can sort of keep my head on, get a better first lap, tag on, and then see where we end up at the end. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to sort of put my mistakes right from what I made yesterday, so let's do it. That was unfortunately not the result we wanted, another 4th place, but I managed to bang in my lap time. I reckon is a 32.290. I think the official timing says it 32.3 something or other. Either way, I'm really pleased with that lap time. Just yeah, made a better start and then was able to go from there. Unfortunately, sort of midway through I had a near high side, which like I was fully over the front of the screen. I don't know how much of a like moment that'll look on the bike, but it was it was definitely close. And then back markers, man, Jesus, like again, you probably see I might put that bit of footage in. I nearly ended up on the grass on the inside of park with the back marker moving out of the way. I mean, it's sort of not their fault, but at the same time, just stick to your racing line and we'll try and get past. It's no good, you know, moving off, because they're not, obviously when you've got no rear view mirrors, you've got no idea whether you're moving off the line into the path of someone who's trying to go around you. So obviously the best thing you can do is stay on your line and we'll try and come past. So I did go down to race control and say, you know, any chance for me to get some blue flags, because the battle for the lead between Finley and Jack, like, yeah, it was basically ruined by back markers through Hall Bends, and Jack nearly got cleaned out by all accords by people I know that was watching. So definitely a bit naughty with back markers, especially around here, seems how narrow it is. However, starting third on the grid for this one, and like my times are only a smidge off, so very pleased, looking forward to the next race. Just led a race. I finished third, made a mistake at Charlie's one, as you probably would have seen. I was struggling towards the end, and Andy got past me, but he overcooked it a bit round Chris Curve.
Is that how we dropped it?
Yeah, so...
Stop boy didn't get it this time.
No, he didn't, no. I was holding him up though, he told me.
Oh,
Who
there
said
we
that?
go.
Fisher. Fuck it, doesn't matter, I'm not bothered. But, yeah, so good way to end on the podium. Can't complain.